Hello guys, for this set of videos, we are going to solve three systems of equations by elimination. We are going to do two examples. For the first problem, it's a common regular case. For the second problem, we have a special case that when we're trying to eliminate one variable, two variables will eliminate at the same time. So let's get started. Okay, so for the first problem, the first thing that I will recommend is to number each equation. We have equation 1, we have equation 2, and we have equation number 3. So number the equations first, 1, 2, and 3. So let's solve this problem step by step, okay? So step number 1 is to get two equations and eliminate one variable or letter. So we can pick either equation 1 and 2, or equation 2 and 3, or equation 1 and equation 3. It's up to you which equations you want to pick. It doesn't matter as long as you eliminate one of the variables. Let's take a look at here. In this case, if you notice that if I pick equation 1 and 2, I could eliminate very easy the y from the first equation and the y from the second equation, because this y is negative already and this y is already positive. All I have to do is to combine these two equations together so the y's will cancel, because one is negative, one is positive, so they will cancel. So let's do that. So let me pick equation 1 and equation 2. Equation 1 is as follows. And then I have 2x plus y plus 2z equals 4. So let me combine those, meaning I'm going to add them together, okay? So I have, this is automatically have 1x, okay? 1x plus 2x, that will give me 3x. Now notice here, negative y plus y, that will automatically will cancel or eliminate. And then negative 1z plus 2z, that will give me 1z or simply plus z equals, and then 1 adding 4, that will give me 5. So this will become my equation 4. So equation 1, 2, 3, and equation 4. Notice that equation 4 has only two variables, the x and the z. Now, the next step, which is like step 2, is to get two different equations and eliminate, it's very important, the same variable, okay? So I'm going to get two different equations and eliminate the same variable. If I eliminate y here, in this step, I need to also eliminate y. So let's pick the two equations that I could eliminate y. Equation 1 and 2, you cannot pick them again. So I need to pick either the 2 and 3 or equation 1 and 3. Notice here, in equation 1, the y is already negative. And in equation 3, the y is already positive. The same step that we did here. So I could take equation 1 and 3 and add them together, so I could eliminate the y, because one is negative and one is already positive. So positive and negative, they will eliminate or cancel. So I'm going to pick equation 1 and 3. So equation 1 is x minus y minus z equals 1. And equation 3 is x plus y plus 3z equals 5. So just combine them, right? Meaning adding. So in that case, I'm going to have x plus x, that will give me 2x, because remember, there is an invisible 1 in there. Now notice here, minus y plus y, boom, gone. And negative 1z plus 3z, remember, right? This is a negative, this is a positive, subtract, and keep the sign of the bigger number. So that will be plus 2z. So positive because 3 is bigger, and this is negative, so they are subtracting. So 3 minus 1 is 2, and it's positive because 3 is bigger than 1 here. And then 1 plus 5, that will give me 6. And this becomes equation 5. Now, let's go to step 3. Step 3 is combine equation 4 and 5 and eliminate one variable in order to solve for the other variable. So equation 4 is 3x plus z equals 5, and equation 5 is 2x plus 2z equals 6. So equation 4 and equation 5. Let's eliminate one of the variables. Remember, in order to eliminate variables, they both have to be the same number, but one has to be positive and the other one has to be negative. For example, if I want to eliminate z, this is 2z, so this one I have to make it as negative 2z. How? By multiplying the whole equation by negative 2. Or if I want to cancel x, I have 3 here and then I have 2 here. My common factor between 3 and 2 is 6, or the less common denominator between 3 and 2 is 6. So I can multiply this by 3 and this by negative 2. So one of them is positive and the other one is negative. But for now, let's work with the z, okay? Let's make this z with the same number as this, but opposite sign. That means I need to multiply all this equation by negative 2. And remember, I need to multiply this negative 2 by every single term in that equation, not this one, okay? So that will become, so negative 2 multiplied by 3x, negative times positive, that will give me a negative 6x. And then negative 2 times z minus 2z. And then negative 2 multiplied 5 will give me minus 10. And then rewrite that equation 5. So now notice, I combine them, because notice I have 2z here and I have minus 2z here, or negative 2z. Therefore, they will cancel or eliminate, and I'm only left with x. So negative 6x plus 2x, one negative, one positive, subtract, and keep the sign of the higher number. In this case, 6 is negative, so keep the negative, equals, and then combine these two values here. Negative 10 plus 6, that will give me minus 4. Again, this is negative, this is positive, subtract, and keep the sign of the higher number. And then to solve for x, all I have to do here is to divide by negative 4, both sides. Not by positive 4, okay? It's by negative 4. So that way this negative 4 cancels. And we already solved for one of the variables. Negative 4 divided by negative 4, that will give me positive 1. Remember, negative divided by negative is a positive. Now, let's go to step 4. Now, step 4 is to use either equation 4 or 5 and solve for the other variable. So we solved for x in the previous step. So we need to solve for z in this step, because equation 4, notice, has x and has z. And also equation 5 has x and has z. So which one do you think has a simpler numbers? For me, I will say equation 4, because z is already by itself. All I need to do is to move this 3x onto the other side, and we already will solve for z. And then substitute the x, because we already solved for x. So let me rewrite the equation 4. So I'm going to use equation 4. And equation 4 is as follows: 3x plus z equals 5. Now, just substitute, right, the value of x by 1, because x equals 1. So I'm going to have 3 times x, which is 1, plus z equals 5. And then 3 times 1 is 3. Bring down the rest of the values and variables. So now solving for z, all I have to do is to move that 3 to the other side. Notice this 3 doesn't have a sign here, so automatically will be positive. So to move it to the other side, it will be minus, which is the opposite, okay? So minus 3, both sides, so that cancels. And I'm left out with z equals 5 minus 3. That will give me 2. Now last step, step 5. Use one of the original equations and solve for the last variable. Okay, so we already solved for x, we solved for z in the previous step. Now we have to solve for y. Now let's pick one equation that is, I will say, the most approachable equation to solve for y. Let's see in the previous, let's see which equation we can use. We could use either equation 1, 2, or 3, okay? Let's pick equation 3 for say. It's up to you which equation do you want to use. Any equation will give you the same solution. Let's pick equation number 3 because if you notice, all of the terms are positive. So I think it's easier to work with positive terms. So we're going to use equation number 3. And equation number 3 is x plus y plus 3z equals 5. Now let's substitute the values that we have already solved for. X is 1 plus y, we don't have y, that's what we're trying to solve, plus 3 times z, but z we already solved for it, that is 2, equals 5. Now let's do the order of operations here. We have addition, we have multiplication, so multiplication comes first. So I'm going to have 3 times 2, that will give me 6, positive, right? Positive and positive gives me positive. Now combine like terms in the same side. I have the 1 here and the 6 here. That will give me 7. So I'm going to have y plus 7 equals 5. Solving for y, I need to move the 7 to the other side. It's adding 7, so the opposite is subtract. So this positive 7 and the negative 7 cancels. And I'm left with y equals 5 minus 7. 1 positive, 1 negative, subtract, and keep the sign of the higher number, so that will give me minus 2. So y equals negative 2. So my final solution is going to be in terms of x, y, and z. So it's going to be 1, y is negative 2, comma, and then z is 2. And that's going to be our final solution.